Some people don't just think. They go further than that. They take a simple thought and stretch it. They turn a small moment into something much bigger. A decision that should take seconds stays in their mind for hours. A conversation that already ended continues long after it's over. And no matter how much they try, they can't seem to stop. If this feels familiar, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your mind is doing something it learned to do over time. Something that feels like thinking, but goes far beyond it. Overthinking is not just thinking too much. It's your mind trying to gain control in situations where it feels uncertain. Because uncertainty is uncomfortable, and your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. So instead of letting a moment pass, it holds onto it, examines it, breaks it down, and tries to understand every possible outcome. At its core, overthinking is about control. When something feels unclear, your brain tries to fix that feeling by thinking more. If I analyze this enough, I'll find the right answer. But the problem is, not everything has a clear answer. And the more you search, the deeper you go. Overthinking often comes from a quiet fear of getting things wrong, saying the wrong thing, making the wrong decision, choosing the wrong path. So instead of deciding, your mind delays. It keeps thinking, hoping to find a perfect choice. But perfection doesn't exist in real life. Your brain learns from experience. If you've ever been judged, criticized, or misunderstood, your mind remembers that, and next time, it tries to protect you. By thinking more, by analyzing more, by preparing for every possible outcome. But here's what most people don't realize. Overthinking doesn't actually protect you. It only gives the illusion of control, while keeping you stuck in the same mental loop. Once a thought enters your mind, your brain doesn't let it go easily. It replays it, adds new possibilities, creates new scenarios. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? And slowly, one thought becomes many. At a deeper level, overthinking is often connected to self-doubt. When you don't fully trust your decisions, your brain double-checks everything. Was that right? Should I change something? Did I make a mistake? And without realizing it, you start depending on thinking to feel safe. But overthinking doesn't mean you're weak. It means your mind has learned to stay alert, to notice risks, to avoid mistakes. But when that awareness goes too far, it turns into a loop. It's like being stuck in a maze, where every path looks possible. So instead of choosing one, you keep walking in circles. And the more you stay in that loop, the harder it becomes to step out of it. Not because you can't, but because your mind believes it's helping you. And that's where everything begins to shift. At some point, overthinking stops feeling like thinking and starts feeling like pressure. A constant need to figure everything out, even when nothing is actually wrong. You're not just thinking about one thing anymore. You're thinking about what could happen next, and what could go wrong, and how you would handle it, and what that would mean. And before you realize it, you're no longer in the present moment. You're inside a future that hasn't even happened. Your brain is designed to predict outcomes, to prepare you for what might come next. But when this system becomes too active, it stops being helpful and starts becoming exhausting. Overthinking doesn't just stay in your mind. It affects how you feel. It creates tension. It drains your energy. And slowly, it makes simple things feel heavy. Decisions take longer. Conversations feel more intense. Even small moments start to feel important. But here's the part most people miss. Overthinking is not the problem. Your reaction to it is. The moment you notice, I'm overthinking this, you create distance, a small space, between you and your thoughts. And in that space, something changes. Imagine standing in the rain. At first, you feel every drop. It feels overwhelming. But the moment you step under shelter, the rain doesn't stop, but it stops affecting you the same way. Your thoughts work the same way. They don't disappear instantly, but when you stop reacting to them, they lose their intensity. The more you try to control every outcome, the more your mind creates scenarios. Because control is never complete. There will always be something unknown. And that's what your mind struggles with. So what does this really mean? It means you're not someone who overthinks too much. You're someone whose mind learned to stay alert, to scan for risks, to prepare for possibilities. But without direction, that awareness turns inward and becomes a loop. But awareness can be redirected. Instead of getting lost in thoughts, you can observe them. Instead of trying to solve everything, you can allow some things to remain uncertain. And when you do that, something subtle changes. You start making decisions faster. You stop questioning every step. You feel lighter, not because your thoughts disappeared, but because they stopped controlling you. Because in the end, overthinking was never about the situation. It was about how your mind was trying to protect you. Not every thought needs an answer. Not every moment needs analysis. And not every possibility needs to be explored. Sometimes, letting things be unclear is the clarity your mind actually needs. And that's when you realize you were never thinking too much. You were just trying to understand.